Avatar 2's marketing starts mocking fans with memes. That is the headline on today's MBE Movie News.
Yes, John, this is coming in from Screen Rant. Avatar 2's marketing department strikes back. From a series of tweets that we can now see, John, obviously Avatar have put out a few tweets and they're not going down too well with a few people in regards to having 4 sequels. Chaps actually went and did a bit of photoshopping there.
Yes.
Avatar have replied with slightly bemused reply there. Looks like a little, I was going to say smiley face. Certainly not smiley anyway.
It's a little bemused Navi
yeah.
face, Stephen. That's very interesting. It's always nice to see companies like this interacting with fans, even if some of the interactions are via valid criticisms. I'd say valid criticisms because, let's be honest, Stephen, the first Avatar movie came out, 10 years ago now?
Yes.
2009.
Mm-hmm.
It's dropped right out of pop culture. It was a bit of a phenomenon back in the day. Obviously, it rejuvenated 3D, if you'd like the 3D going experience. It was a joke in the 80s, I recall, even the 90s, when I was a child going to some, I don't even know what it was, exhibition or something, and they were showing you 3D movies, and it was like something straight out of Back to the Future too, with this tacky, Jaws, this tacky thing coming down. And just to see this experience, it was remarkable what James Cameron had done, and that's something, Stephen, that's always been synonymous with the guy. He knows how to take the movie-going experience and do something unique with it, do a different twist, and he's a bit of an innovator, if you'd like. So that's what made it all the more surprising that it dropped right out of pop culture, and I think it's because it's just a deeply forgettable movie. But look, it's nice to see them interacting anyway.
I think, John, as well, that most of the, I don't want to say the success, obviously, it's a good film. It is a good film. There's no getting away from that. But it was gimmicky at the time. Something that we, especially with 3D as well, as you mentioned, John, I remember going to see a 3D film in the late 80s, and it was terrible. It just wasn't done right. This is probably the first time it was done right, and since then 3D has come on leaps and bounds, but it's something that's always going to be a gimmick to a certain sect of moviegoers. I'm certainly one of them.
Martin Scorsese for sure wouldn't think that was cinema.
No, probably not, but again, it's all to do with experience and what you get out of it. I've always maintained that. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're Scorsese or you're one of us sitting here on a YouTube channel talking about films, we've all got a different experience from different films or the same film. But there's other ones as well having a pop. Obviously, the font that was used for Avatar as well. It's Papyrus. Chaotic evil. It's labelled, and the response to that was probably my favourite one. I can't remember the character's name.
Knocking eye. It was a Zoe Saldana one.
Yeah, but she's looking a little bit awkward there, as if. Silent moment.
Yes.
Eyes kind of going to the side. That little girl they used, the gif, the little blonde girl with a sort of awkward look. But I mean, listen, the whole point of this article in my book, John, is that Avatar and the production team are not taking these things serious, because you remember back in April when there was this thing going on with Endgame, we hope it beats Avatar, etc., etc., and there was a seriousness to it as well. There was a lot of people obviously, just taking it lightly, but I think a lot of people did take it very serious. They wanted Avatar beaten to a pulp.
I was one of them.
It wasn't though. Yeah, John, we've got it on record.
Yes, I was one of them. And it's not against Avatar.
And you saw the response from the studios, especially from the directors, the Russo brothers and James Cameron, commending each other for the success. Firstly, obviously, when Endgame overtook Titanic, and then finally when it overtook Avatar as well. But James Cameron's not up at night worrying about things like this. He's got 4 sequels he's got to get under his belt. He's so invested in this franchise that he couldn't come back for Terminator Dark Fate. By all accounts, doesn't look like, from what I've heard, they're missing him anyway, but we'll judge that when we see it, John.
Yes.
But I like it. This is what it should be all about. In good spirits. You're going to get a certain sect of fandom, especially on social media, that think they've got this platform to say what they want when they want. They have got that, but it doesn't mean that you have to take any attention to it. Avatar certainly have, but they've come back with terrific response.
Yeah, Stephen, and it's always nice to see a company of this size. Who is it actually deals with that? It's also Disney, it was Century Fox though. It's nice to see them interact under green lighting these interactions with fans on social media. It's almost like a toxic environment. You would imagine the studios view these things as being, also after the James Gunn incident and whatnot.
Yeah.
Numerous other people putting their foot in it, if you like. It's just nice to see that them perhaps utilising this in a modern era. We've seen the interactions of obviously Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese recently.
Yeah.
Their views on modern day filmmaking and the MCU, and you can just imagine that their idea of Twitter and social media and whatnot will be just looking at it with complete and utter disdain. Wouldn't dream of marketing their movies on there. They're traditionalists, so it's nice to see that these guys, perhaps at the pioneering end of filmmaking and visuals and whatnot, if not in the more grittier and human storytelling element of the filmmaking business, but the pioneering side, they're seeing the opportunity here to interact with fans with a new demographic, using memes. We see the likes of PewDiePie, I was about to say PewDiePie, Jesus Christ, Felix Kjellberg, PewDiePie, he does his thing with memes and whatnot, and it's just something that the generation below, even me, younger generation than me, connect with. So that's a great way of marketing, and as you did allude to, Stephen, it just shows that they aren't taking it too serious. No. The criticism, some of the criticisms are valid. That papyrus font is an utter abomination, a skid mark against humanity. Whoever designed that needs lined up against the wall and shot, and then shot again just to make sure. And obviously, as I did allude to previously as well, it's just dropped out of pop culture. There's something about the movie's just forgettable. It's like Ferngully on steroids. I'm not saying it's a terrible movie, as I did say, I was willing Endgame to beat it and be the all-time grossing box office movie, but that's because I loved Endgame and I loved what it stood for, the culmination of the MCU, or of the Infinity War.
I'll say one thing, John, about Avatar, though, 2009 Avatar, it hasn't aged badly.
No, the visuals are still incredible, yeah. And Stephen, you look at just the sequels as well, and the mammoth task that he's really undertaken to bring out all these different sequels in very short order. I think he's filmed Avatar 2 and 3 back to back. And it's quite remarkable when you actually break down what he's managed to accomplish. It's going to be 4 movies in the next, 7-8 years or so. Yeah. 2021 to 2027, so 7 years, 4 movies. It's unbelievable. What isn't unbelievable and isn't very good is the titles of these movies. I think I have to skim over these one more time.
We're hoping they're working titles.
Yeah, we hope they're working titles like Blue Harvest, as you did say, Stephen, and I think Rust City or something was the most recent Ghostbusters 2021. But
Rust City sounds like a good film, though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. The Way of Water sounds like a Bruce Lee quote. Be water, my friend. Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah.
The Seed Bearer. What is that? That is terrible. The Tolkien Raider sounds like the Tusken Raider, like they're ripping off Star Wars. It's not like James. And then finally, perhaps the best, The Quest for Erwa. So there's one good one out of 4. Yeah. But it's more just alluding again, Stephen. I keep saying alluding, it's my word of the day, clearly. But it's more highlighting that just the mental amount of work that James Cameron has put in. Final thing I would add to it, Stephen, before we move on swiftly, is I've just been reading interconnected articles with Avatar, and I've seen a very interesting thing which dropped a couple of days ago. It's all about Edward Norton and how he said no to being in Avatar 2.
Yeah, I read that, John, yeah.
But he also said yes to going into Alita Battle Angel, and it's because he wasn't playing a Navi. What the hell do you make of that, Stephen, before we move on? That's something that just
He's a chap that always surprises me, John, because when I think I know what he's thinking, and the way he thinks, he goes the opposite way. We talked about the other week there on, it might have been Heroes, we were talking about his experience on the Incredible Hulk film and his relationship with Disney, obviously Marvel as well, and Kevin Feige. It surprised me. It surprised me very much how much he had fond memories of the experience. I thought it was an absolute nightmare for the guy. Maybe time has passed and a lot of wounds have healed, John. This, on the other hand, is something that I didn't think he would touch with a barge pole.
Well, he does say his reasons were that he wasn't ever going to be coming in if he wasn't an Navi and being part of this industrial world which is coming in and wrecking this alien habitat. So he didn't want to be the bad guys, essentially. Yeah. But that chap who was in that horror movie, who I think was blind, the one with Silence, I can't recall what the hell it was, but he was very good. Played with the sergeant type figure in the first Avatar movie. So he didn't want to do it unless it was the right role for him. And he's a man of morals, so hats off to him for that.
Exactly, John. I can't really see him being in it either. Especially now you've got all these sequels. This is one of the things we talked about the other week with his commitment issues, certainly with the MCU, was a big part of his decision not to carry on because of all these appearances in other films, etc. Certainly, I'm pretty sure that James Cameron had an idea for this franchise as well 10 years ago where he wanted to take it, and I'm pretty sure if he was having conversations with Edward Norton and he mentioned the fact, I'm going to be having 4 sequels by the way, Edward Norton would have run for the hills. But we'll move on, John, to our next article. We're just talking about it. It's Terminator Dark Fate. Early reactions, Tease best sequel since T2. Big statement that, John. But there is a few obviously tweets there that we'll go through in a little moment. But what's your take on this, John? Because it's a bit of a turnaround, certainly. Until we see the film, we can't really judge it, obviously. But when you get back a few months, that first trailer came out, both you and I were like, not feeling this.
Yeah.
Not feeling this at all.
It wasn't a very good trailer.
Doesn't feel like a sequel to T2. There's little things that have happened since then. We've got a better trailer for a start.
You've got Linda Hamilton.
Arnold and Linda, they both have promoted this perfectly, along with the new cast as well, John. Obviously, James Cameron dropping the one about Edward Furlong as well. I'll let you get into that in a moment. Not liking the sound of this, but it's a bit of a mixed bag. But reading this as well now, it seems like it might not be that bad, but I'm not one of these ones, I must make it clear, who dissed any of the other sequels. T3 was okay in my book. Salvation was good. Genesis was keek. That was just, I wouldn't even waste my time with it.
Yeah.
But, so it's not really got a lot to sort of put it up against, if you know what I mean.
No.
Apart from maybe T3, which I thought was probably the best of the sequels, out with obviously T2.
Yeah, Steve, when I seen the early reviews coming in, the early reactions, and they were proclaiming to the heavens, it's the best Terminator movie since T2, Judgment Day, I thought, well, that's damning it with faint praise. Because most of those movies haven't been a great success, really. And I'm like you, Stephen, I actually didn't mind them. I thought Terminator 3 was cool. It was a decent movie, if not for that jacket alone that Arnie was wearing. That was magnificent.
It just took some of that humour out of it, you know, that silly humour. And if Edward Furlong had carried on the John Connor character, it might have actually been a passable film. But obviously they had to recast.
And if Linda Hamilton was in there, which she wasn't,
sadly. They killed her off, actually, didn't they? Yeah. I think that's why they're ignoring these sequels. Yeah,
and then obviously Salvation. I've spoken about that numerous times. I love the cinematography. Christian Bale was in there. Sam Worthington was the man of the moment. Obviously coming off the back of it, must have been a roundabout Avatar, because he was appearing in every single movie at that time. Thought that was fine. I've still not seen Genesis. Pile of dog shit from what I've heard. So it's good to see that they're perhaps getting the franchise back on an even keel and getting their act together, if you like. Perhaps setting up a new direction for it, maybe with these female characters. I can't actually recall who the actresses are, but there's a young girl who's playing the sort of a John Connor role. They're saying that Stephen...
McKenna Grace, isn't it?
Yeah, is it McKenna Grace? Is that who it is?
She's not one of the ones that are... I don't know.
Is she not in Ghostbusters? It may be her. It may actually be her, Stephen. That'd be very interesting.
Am I thinking of someone else? I can't remember.
I don't know. But yeah, regardless, Stephen, it's interesting to see that they're perhaps setting it up well, and that, from what I've heard, that is an amalgamation of the first two movies. Now, we will go through some of these tweets. The first one that I seen was very interesting, because it says it is kind of a try to do a Force Awakens of the Terminator movies, and that mostly succeeds, but it's just lacking that innovation and the evolution in directing of Cameron. They do go on to say that Arnold is fantastic and that it is his personal best of the post-T2 appearances. So look, I thought he was very good in Terminator 3. Patchy in the other ones, you can't really call them appearances really. Again, I've not seen Genesis. I know they've done something with him, alternate viewings, but it was very CG'd in the main. So that's interesting. Stephen, from the marketing, he was the most interesting character for me. This direction of this perhaps different T800, Carl. And what we'll get into with John Connor, he commits a certain heinous crime at the beginning of the movie, which a lot of fans will be aghast at. But he goes down this route thereafter, having to live with it and becoming humanised, if you like, and being this older, different take on a T800 character. It's going to be, from the marketing, I thought that was so interesting, and it's very cool to see that the early reactions and reviews are backing that up by saying that it's his best performance and best appearance since T2. Some of the other ones are saying they were sceptical, but they ended up enjoying it quite a bit more. slightly disagree with this, and where this guy Mike Ryan, where he says that it's Linda Hamilton and it's always been her story. Hamilton adds much needed weight here. Now I do agree that she adds much needed weight in the continuity required coming in from Terminator 2, but was it always her story? I think it was a joint story with her and John Connor.
Yeah. It started
and that will
off,
get me into what I was going to speak
the
about.
first film, John, yes, it certainly was her story.
Yeah.
And obviously her development in the second one was one of the best developments I've seen in a character, from what she was to where she came, where she, obviously ended up. Natalie Reyes was a young girl. I was obviously doing a Ghostbusters crossover there, John. But you're right, I think, especially if that rumour is true about Edward Furlong coming back just to sort of play out his character one last time, I could believe that, actually, because he's not really acted in much over the last few years. Certainly not blockbuster films. And I think James Cameron left it very late in the day to announce he was coming back. How big a role it is, we'll soon see.
So producing, executive producing, I think.
But just for him to announce that Edward Furlong was coming back very late on in the day, it's kind of suggesting me that he wasn't going to have a big part to begin with. We both assumed that it would come in at the end to set up the sequels, but it looks like it's going the other way, John. Sadly.
Yeah, well, Stephen, I was on Reddit. I went down a rabbit hole on Reddit, and another guy who'd been to see the movie, and he backed it up because he had a nice little poster and another little memento they were gifting out to people seeing these secret screenings. He confirmed that he does get killed in the opening shot. It's a flashback sequence. Carl, the Terminator, obviously played by Arnie. It's not the same T-800. Uncle Bob, I think they were calling him.
Yeah, he melted. So.
Yeah, he melted. So he goes in and he shoots John Connor in this bar setting, and that's your opening shot of the movie. Then there's other little scenes, I think flashbacks or flash forwards with Edward Furlong, perhaps utilising de-aging or something, or digital CGI on, I don't know what the word, I can't even recall exactly what it says, but it was utilising digital effects or something like that. Apparently handled very well, but it's disappointing, Stephen. That we're not going to see Edward Furlong having a more sizable role or presence in this rebooted franchise, if you like. I don't know if this is what they're planning. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think they were talking about a trilogy after this, and it'll be really disappointing to not see Edward Furlong having a more sizable role. But look, apparently Natalie Reyes is fantastic. She's an excellent anchor. She's kind of replacing the Connor role, and it's fitting, Stephen, because we're doing a different sort of a version of Skynet and everything. We were speaking about that. I can't even recall what the name of them were. It was a terrible name.
It was one word, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one word. But if you're doing a new story, it's a new futuristic, ominous sort of network sending back these Terminators, then you have a different anchor. They're looking for a different person. And I'm mostly happy to see that Gabriel Luna's Rev 9 is apparently a winner too. He's got physicality, and some of the fights are amazing. Some of the VFX is amazing. So all in all, I'm happy to see it's getting good response, good early feedback from the critics. You can always take it with a pinch of salt though, Stephen, because these are the same critics who are utterly shitting upon Joker and saying it was this gruesome, violent movie which would inspire a spate of killings, and it turned out to be utter nonsense. It's one of the best movies of the year, if not the best. So how much can you really take from this? We know these critics are always skewed and they'll always have an agenda at certain points to drive, so I'm happy until I see it though. I'm not going to be gushing endlessly over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Really disappointed, Zella.
I think obviously the director as well, he's obviously come out a few months ago and said a few things as well.
Yeah, you underestimate Tim Miller as well, Stephen, at your peril, because he's a great director.
He's a good filmmaker, John, there's no doubt about it, and obviously taking this franchise on was a big gamble in his career and his reputation as well. Because as we just mentioned, the sequels haven't performed, unfortunately, but it's just one of those situations that if you're a massive fan of the franchise and you're a very good filmmaker, then it's very hard to turn down, especially if you're getting consultation from James Cameron. I do believe obviously he's tied up with the Avatar franchise at the moment, but I think he would have been a good chap to have on the other end of the line, to discuss things, get a bit of advice. But I'm just glad that they got a good director in to do it, because I think if it was another John Mostower, whoever, who did the third one, who's a good director, but I just don't think, I don't know how big a fan he was. We know Tim Miller is a big fan of the Terminator franchise and certainly of T2, so he understands the characters, he understands the direction that must go in. It's very hard for the fans though. It's very much like Halloween franchise as well, where they're trying to make us forget what's already happened with other releases, but what can you do?
Incidentally, Stephen, it's the Legion. The new Skynet
Legion,
is the Legion. Yeah. That is god awful. Stephen, you're right what you said. Finally, thing I would add is, look, as I did say, Tim Miller, underestimate that guy at your peril. He is a good director. He knows how to inject some humour, which we've seen in Deadpool. I don't know whether to be alarmed or not with the comparison with The Force Awakens. That was a completely different setup. You're taking place after the events of obviously Return of the Jedi, 30-40 years of a gap. Nowhere near as big a gap here between Judgment Day and obviously Dark Fate. So that's I can see what they're doing. They're trying to rejuvenate the franchise for a new generation, but time will tell, Stephen.
Yeah.
My main thing that I take away in the negative slant is that John Connor dies, and I hope they can maybe repair that somehow in the movie.
If they
go back and bring him back or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if they will do that, John. I don't think they would bother doing that. But I think if you said, if they have some key scenes, after that scene, if you like, explains it. If they can justify,
there's no need for
the killing off of them, then I think the fans can accept that if it's written properly. But we'll move on, John, to our final article this week. It's Fantastic Beasts 3 will begin filming in February 2020. It's not breaking news or anything like that. We knew this. We knew there was going to be a Fantastic Beasts 3. I'll say that clearly because I'm prone to say beats. So this is going to start filming in February 2020, John. Now, you're more of an expert on these things than myself. Certainly with this franchise, I do know, obviously, the first film. I think it was your first ever movie review.
It was indeed, yes.
You thoroughly enjoyed that first film. Second one, not so much.
Yeah, Stephen, I thoroughly enjoyed that first movie because it had a certain innocent vibe to it. Eddie Redmayne's Newt Scamander character was just wonderful, quite quiet and introverted and just a cool little character. And then that juxtaposed with all those cute little magical beasts coming out and him and his unique little relationship he had with them. It was wonderful. It was a nice little family adventure, and it was opening up this new world which we hadn't seen before that had perhaps been alluded to on the likes of Pottermore and whatnot, this American version of magical society where you have different obviously magical organisations. It's not the Ministry of Magic over there, I actually can't recall the name of the American version. Different schools, different setups, so that was neat. But then when you went into the Crimes of Grindelwald, it was obviously always going to be a difficult task to then bridge that with the future franchise, try to set up this wider universe with obviously Grindelwald himself, the complex relationship he has with the likes of Dumbledore and whatnot, try to do that in a way which was exciting, invigorating for new fans coming in, and then just dropping enough little Easter eggs, if you like, for the returning fans. It was always a difficult task. I thought they did okay. I didn't think it was a terrible movie by any means. It set it up well, it was a connecting film, and now we're getting confirmation, as you did say, Stephen, that this one is shooting next year, February 2020. It's Dan Fogel, who's got a Fogler, I should say, not Fogel. He obviously plays Jacob Kowalski. He's come out, I think he was at Leaky Con, it's a Harry Potter convention. I think it's the biggest unofficial fan convention. He then confirmed, he says, we haven't started filming yet. We start in February. Last we heard, JK's been writing furiously. And then he goes on to say that it's going to be a new approach. Warner Brothers weren't too pleased with the success or the performance of Crimes of Grindelwald at the box office. Slowed it down, delayed it, decided to go off in a slightly different direction with this one. They want to make it bigger, more bombastic if you like. And then he does allude to that everyone's really happy with the script. They're just waiting to basically get into it. They're saying it's going to be like the first two movies combined on steroids. Yeah. And I think that's needed. I
think as well, John, I think you've got to be fair as well. I think we actually covered this in our audio days as well when the second film first came out. Obviously there was a bit of a melee with Johnny Depp at the time as well, which wasn't going down well. It didn't matter what film he was in, but wasn't.
Yeah, it was that. It was obviously nonsense with Amber Heard.
Yeah, there was obviously a bit of a domestic, John. But David Yates is a director, of course, who's going to be taking the director's chair once again.
Yeah. Guy just gets this franchise.
Exactly. Just like we were talking about, John, with the Terminator franchise. This film's going to be. It's going to have to obviously perform, John, because box office wise, did very well, but obviously there was a bit of. But
Yeah, people were saying it was boring, Stephen.
Yeah,
frankly.
But I think a lot of people accepted it. It was a change of pace and a change of tone was because of they'd already announced their master plan anyway. So you could excuse that if it was going somewhere. So this is where it's going now. So when this third film hits the screens, I don't know when the release date is.
Probably 2021 or something.
Probably a year from the production, John. But it's going to have to perform, or it's at that crucial stage now, where they've set it up nicely. Second one, a bit of a letdown for many fans, but knowing fine well they were going to get a few more sequels, down the line that would probably better that film. I'm assuming anyway.
Yeah. Well, we would hope so.
Yeah.
Stephen, they've certainly got a great melting pot of different characters and actors in here. Eddie Redmayne, obviously playing Newt Scamander, he's doing his thing. You've got obviously Jude Law playing Dumbledore. Yeah. You've got Johnny Depp playing Grindelwald. There's a whole host of other ones in there. Ezra Miller, Credence Barebones, he's a fascinating character. He also has his true lineage or identity revealed at the end of the movie. He's linked in some way to Dumbledore. So there's a whole host of things you're on in there. It's very interesting, and I'm sure they'll lay it out beautifully as these other movies continue. Will it ever aspire or even beat the Harry Potter movies, the OG movies, if you'd like? I don't think they ever will, and that's purely because JK is writing script by script. She hasn't got one clear, well, maybe she has got a set vision for where it's all going, but it's not there in paper with the richness of the obviously character development, the locations, and just the story itself. That was there, set in stone. You were adapting it straight from the book, and as we've seen with Game of Thrones, that always helps immeasurably when you're making movies and TV shows.
Pace, John, and writing, so it's very much like,
and it's hard to do,
like George R. R. Martin. It's finally, they've got to let it slip because obviously the demand for film is more than obviously the books. So.
Yeah, but Stephen, final thing I'd add, I'm just excited anyway. Big Harry Potter fan, I'll take it no matter what it is and when it comes. The most exciting thing is, as I did allude to, Dan Fogler saying it's a gigantic movie and there's so much things going on within it. So look, I'm excited for it. I didn't mind Crimes of Grindelwald, and as it is, I'm just happy to see it's getting made and it's going into production next year. But look guys, that's going to round up today's show. What the hell did you make about the array of topics we spoke about? What do you think about Avatar 2 as a sequel? Do you give a shit about it? What do you make about the studio interacting with fans with a little bit of humour? What do you make about Terminator Dark Fate's early reactions? Are you on board for it? Are you in utter despair like me about John Connor potentially dying? I've not seen it yet, I don't know. What do you make about Fantastic Beasts 3 as well? If you've got anything to say, comment below and let us know what your thoughts were in the comment section down below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content, and me and Stephen will be back tomorrow for another episode of MBE Movie News and the Blog Rundown.